We're about to take a look at, well, AAA and what that means, as well as device access control. Find out more right here on IT Pro TV.
You're watching IT Pro TV.
Device security is easy to overlook, but the person that's not going to do that is Anthony Sequeira. So, Anthony, as we get started here, okay, we're going to be looking at AAA, and we are not talking about the Automotive Association of America.
That's who comes and tows my new car I just ordered.
Yes, it does. So that Tesla, you probably have that AAA sticker right on the back, don't you?
Yeah, I wish.
All right, so what are we talking about as we get started here? We're really taking a look at device access control. Why is that as important as we're making it to be here?
I really do love this term. It's one of my favorite terms, defense in depth. You don't hear that much anymore from Cisco, but I really always loved it. And it makes me think of, oh yeah, okay, this shiny new router of ours, we're going to physically secure it, but then we're going to secure it at layer 2, at layer 3, and beyond. So sure, this is just one element of securing our devices, but it's certainly an important one. Let's jump into our VIRL topology. Let's see what they did for us from a security perspective. If I do this, exit, okay, from privilege mode, we see that we are out of the device essentially, and we hit return to get in. And look at this. There's not much going on from a security perspective because I just got into user mode with no challenge. Wow. And you might think, well, user mode's lame. I don't know about that. Like, can I do a whole bunch of reconnaissance against this machine right now? Yeah, I sure can. So that's not good. So now I decide it's time to really mess up this router. I'm going to type enable and, oh, okay. So VIRL by default gave me a privilege mode password. And of course it's lowercase Cisco. So this is not the security you want in your actual enterprise. But let's just review how they did what they did. So I'm going to do a show run and let's see if we can see how they did what they did. Okay. So the first thing involving passwords is no service password encryption. So if we look in this configuration, I think what we're going to see, and look at this, no AAA new model. So we are not encrypting passwords at all, and we're not taking advantage of AAA. And look at this. There is the enable password, and it is in clear text, not good. So one of the things that we could start working on this device is securing local password stuff. And you would want to say no enable password Cisco and get that out of there. We used to use the enable password for what was called backward compatibility. Now, I, at one Cisco Live conference, walked up to someone way smarter than me, and I said, can you define exactly what that means? Because I teach it in every CCNA, and I don't know what it means. And he's like, he laughed and he goes, yeah, no problem. What we mean by backward compatibility, Anthony, is that you take that config in a text file and you paste it into a really, really old router that can't work with encrypted passwords. And then he said, and there are no routers like that anymore that you're going to run into. So just drop the whole enable password thing. So no longer is it realistic that it's there for backward compatibility. So I get rid of that. And instead you would say enable user context sensitive help if you want. And look at this, on this device, we can do the algorithm type. This is totally new to me. Have you seen this running?
I have.
Oh, okay. I had not seen this yet. This is pretty cool. And so we can do some legitimate hiding on the secret password. You see, it used to be a real insecure methodology to keep it secret. Now you can boost that. That's cool. So then I can set the secret. So I can say, we're going to do lowercase Cisco because we're in the lab, but you get the idea. You would make that stronger. So now when I do my show run, oh, thank goodness, that password is going to have some gobbledygook instead of the clear text. And notice there's a number here, Ronnie, to indicate the strength of the security, right?
Yeah, an MD5.
MD5. That's a 7 if you're using the built-in hashing that the operating system could do.
So if you're actually just doing enable secret, it's
Yep.
usually an MD5.
Okay.
But on the passwords that you might set for like your line console and stuff, that normally is going to be a 7.
Okay, let's show that next. So I go into the console, let's say, and line console 0, and I want to set a password there, like Ronnie said. I say, okay, check it at login and make it Cisco. And then you realize, oh no, that's clear text. So you go service password encryption, and that goes and looks for any of your weak clear text passwords, and it does the level 7.
Right.
Now, here's the warning on that, unless you know different from I, Ronnie, but what I've always been told is that that is just like essentially one baby step above clear text.
Right.
So this 7 right here indicates that that is a very, very weak security level. So
Yeah.
watch out for that.
Yeah, as far as I've been describing it and what I've heard is it's essentially prevents from over-the-shoulder surfing, but overall, it's not actually going to prevent any type of password cracker that exists out there on the internet.
Right. Now I remember that. Like there's commonly downloadable tools that will take care of that for you. That
Yeah, even web tools. You can just open up a browser and
Gotcha.
you can actually just type in level 7 password cracker and it's
Yep. So
for
it's
that
better
right?
than nothing.
better than nothing.
Okay. All right. So, by the way, you saw that when I was doing context sensitive help, I was like, whoa, I didn't know you could do that. So there's always advancements here. Do you remember, before we leave the topics of passwords here, and we're going to talk a little bit about AAA, but do you remember, Ronnie, there's now like password complexity you can enforce.
Yep.
Man, are the commands about password? I think
Yep.
they are. That's hysterical. Password, wow, look at this. So explore, that's my point, right? You're going to find that there's always new features hitting the operating system as far as this local password stuff goes. You can enforce complexity rules now in the operating system. You can enforce, I bet you Ronnie's looking up how to do it. You can enforce history where the same password can't be reused a bunch of times. You can enforce password expiration. So always keep an eye on the new features that they're rolling out for the operating systems in this area. Did you find...
Yes, but you have to actually enable a AAA before you can do any of that. That's why you cannot finding it.
That is so cool. So let's do it. With no further ado, let's do something that we love to do on these devices. If Tom Brady ever divorces Giselle, he will need to use this command, AAA new model. See what I did there?
Yeah, I see.
And I just made that joke up on the
Wow.
fly. Never before have I attempted that joke.
Yeah.
So AAA new model, it's a simple little command. We type it in and we just change so much.
Yes.
And so now we can do fancy password stuff, right?
You can. You have to actually go ahead and do a few other things if you're going to do that, which is to be able to change like the policy and criteria stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, trust me, you can do it. You can enforce these password like complexity algorithms and stuff. But what we're really excited about now that we've enabled the AAA is we can have this device work in conjunction with Cisco ICE. Remember that identity services engine? The ICE can now really take over for us. And we can do like good, sophisticated, strong authentication of our users. And notice you can go in and you can set different methodologies for different areas of your device. For instance, we can say, okay, for all logins, we're going to go ahead and create a list of methodologies for all logins to this device. Now, before I go any farther in this demonstration, you want to really be careful here. This is what labs are awesome for. Because if you go into the IT Pro TV labs that we've got for you up there, remember what I told you several episodes ago? You can't break anything. You'll never get in trouble. You can lock yourself out of one of those routers and you can just reboot the whole pod and you won't get in trouble. In real production equipment and in your exams, be super careful. You lock yourself out of a router, no one's helping you get back in. Nobody.
Yeah. And so a warning that I always do, like if you're going to be setting something like AAA, finish the configuration. Do not get interrupted by a growling stomach.
Great point.
Do not get interrupted by a phone call,
Yeah.
because you will come back and you'll hit enter and you're toast.
Yeah.
You haven't set it up correctly.
Shouldn't I be doing this, Ronnie? Before I even show them that stuff, shouldn't I be doing this? Username,
Yes.
like emergency, right? Username, I'll just do something silly here. Username Tony, secret. And again, I'll just be bad with passwords, right?
Right.
But so notice what I'm doing here. Like I am setting up local credentials so I can make sure that I can get in. And this is a best practice. You have a backdoor into the device in the event of an emergency. Now, when you go and you do stuff like AAA authentication for all logins to this device, you can create your My List login. So My List for logins, I'll call it My List login. And then you can say like, oh yeah, we're going to use a group of TACACS Plus servers or Radius servers. And obviously you would create this group. The group is then going to be backed up by the local database. So notice how great this is. If you get in a situation where all of the Radius servers that you have in that group are all down, you have a backdoor in, and it's to use the local database, and you have set up a local username and password that you can get in with. Okay, you see how this works? Now notice what I said. This is a famous like exam question that we tend to run into, and that is, when is local used? Well, remember, it's not used if Radius fails. It's used if all of our Radius servers are unavailable. Very important point.
Yeah, that's probably one of the hardest technique or hardest concepts to get across to people is the very fact that they're like, hey, it's not working. Why isn't it failing over? It's because Radius actually is working. It's just saying you typed it in wrong. You're not entering in the information correctly. So it's doing exactly what it needs to. But if you don't get a response, then that's when it says, all right, we need to switch over to local.
In fact, Ronnie, I just realized we can actually demo that right now.
Yep.
Because we didn't set up the Radius group.
Correct.
So there's going to be no reachability to those Radius servers. I created a local account of Tony.
And you still need to go into the line login, line VTYs.
And assign that somewhere.
Because if you don't.
Good call. So what you're saying is, can I do this? Can I go line console 0?
You can, yes.
Can I say AAA authentication? What point were you going to make, Ronnie? Maybe I didn't catch your point.
Well, it was about so if you're doing this from across the network, right? So if you're using the VTY lines, if you're using SSH or anything, you have to go in and make sure that when you do login, it's actually set up to either the local database or set up to actually do the AAA. Because if you don't, it's going to say, all right, I'm rebooting, and then we're not going to have that set up, and it's not going to use the username password
So
database.
easy to get yourself in trouble.
Yeah.
So let me do this. So let's remind ourselves what's going on with our console right now. So I'm going to say show run, and then how about I say begin line con 0. Okay, so Ronnie, this is what's going on my console right now. I've got this password set, and that's it. So you're saying we need to drop in commands here to use our setting.
Yeah, to actually be able to use the AAA setting.
Okay, it's been so long since I've done this. Help me out.
So you actually go and now you start to set in login.
Okay, log in.
And yeah, go ahead and do the constant.
Yep, authentication. Oh yeah, it's
there you
coming
go.
back to me. I called mine my list login. All right.
Yeah. So that's
And-
important because if you don't and you have AAA turned on, it's really going to
Great stuff.
maybe fail. Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Now I hope you remember
just-
the password because I don't.
Go. That's right. So watch this. So this is, let's take a moment here, right? This is a moment that's really important. When you're practicing, this is the kind of stuff that you want to do. It's totally safe if you mess up our lab equipment. And what you want to do right now is when I hit enter, what's going to happen, right? And then you want to go through the why it's happening.
Right.
If you play this game when you're labbing, this is how you become a Cisco ninja. You know, just constantly play that game of, actually, this is funny. When Ronnie is about to be a CCIE, when he's like about to pass, they'll say that Ronnie's thinking like a router. He's thinking like a router. What does that mean? Well, it means that he knows everything the router's going to do right before it happens. That's how well he knows this stuff. So I hope this prompts me for a username. That's just what we thought would happen, right? Because those Radius servers aren't there. We never defined them. And now, thank goodness, it is doing the fallback plan of the local database.
So where the normal configuration fails, at least from when I've taught this, is simple. I've either forgotten to set up that username password kind of mini database, or I've forgotten to set it up on those lines that we need to.
Yep.
So whether on the console or whether across the VTY lines, I just forgot that last state. And if you do, it's not going to give you anything, and you're going to be locked out of the router.
Not good. Now, let's play the game further.
Yeah.
So I got in with Tony, and thank goodness I set Cisco as the password. I got in. Now we're in user mode.
Uh-oh.
We're thinking back. Did we do anything there? Enable. Yes, we
Yes,
went
we did.
in there and we set an enable secret. And thank goodness I set that to Cisco. So now we're in. But play with this. Practice, practice, practice this. And this is good stuff. The one thing we didn't show, we probably should have, that is, Ronnie, I bet you remember, you would define who the Radius servers are. And isn't that AAA group and then server and then Radius and then your group name? And then, you know, you start putting in the IP addresses or the DNS names of your servers. So remember, context-sensitive help is going to really help you here. We can do server and then the host name or IP address. So you can build the group that you are referencing in your AAA authentication command. So we just scratched the surface here.
Right.
There is a lot that can be done with AAA. As far as what the exam, for those of you that are interested, what this Encore exam is going to be like, how deep would they go? How deep is your love? How deep is your love? Oh, a 70s song.
Yes,
just
you
entered
did. Bee Gees.
Was that the Bee Gees?
It's the Bee Gees.
Yeah, so I guess I
Very
got to
good.
sing it a little higher next time. So as far as what the exam does, Ronnie and I are here for you. Okay, we got the corporate credit card. We'll run out and take that thing as many times as we need to make sure we're giving you the coverage that you need. So have no fear. If there is more AAA we need to teach you, those episodes will be in this course.
All right, Anthony. Well, thank you again for helping us to understand a little bit more about securing our devices. We went over, of course, password and login protection as well. And then the setup for AAA security and Anthony's joke about the quarterback for Green Bay.
You don't want to say his name.
No, I don't. So all comments there, Anthony at itpro.tv. Don't forget. So there are plenty of different other things that we are going to be covering in this section. But for now, we'll go ahead and sign off. For IT Pro TV, I'm your host, Ronnie Wong.
And I'm Anthony Sequeira.
Oh, there you go. Stay tuned right here for more CCNP Encore.
Thank you for watching IT Pro TV.